Raise your hand if you've ever said something and watched the other person's face turn into a question mark. Yeah, same. You weren't speaking another language. You were speaking boy. And somehow, nobody heard you right. Here's what nobody warns you about. You can be surrounded by people, family, friends, a girl who says she gets you, and still feel like you're explaining yourself through a broken phone. Every word comes out wrong. Every silence gets read as anger. Every time you try to open up, it turns into an argument or an awkward pause. So you stop trying. You pull back. You learn to keep the real stuff inside. And then people call you distant. Cold. Hard to read. That's the loop. And it's not your fault. Let's start with the first place you learned to be misunderstood, home. When you were a kid, you probably cried freely. You hugged your mom without thinking. You said, "I love you," like it was nothing. Then somewhere around middle school, the messages changed. Big boys don't cry. Man up. Stop being so sensitive. Not mean. Just, constant. A drip of water on the same spot until a crack forms. So you stopped crying. You stopped hugging first. You stopped saying the soft things. But inside, you didn't stop feeling them. You just lost the vocabulary. The words got rusty from disuse. Now when something hurts, a breakup, a failure, a friend letting you down, you don't have the tools to explain it. So you say, "I'm fine." Or you get quiet. Or you make a joke that lands like a paper cut. And she says, "You never talk to me." And you think, "I don't even know how anymore." That's misunderstanding number one. People think you're hiding. You're not hiding. You're mute in a language you were never taught to speak. Now let's talk about how boys are supposed to show strength. The world has a very specific image of a strong guy. Muscles. Jawline. Calm under pressure. Never rattled. Always has an answer. That image is everywhere: movies, video games, the guys who get the most likes online. You look at yourself. You have doubts. You overthink. Sometimes your hands shake before a big moment. Sometimes you lie awake replaying a dumb thing you said 3 years ago. So you feel weak. You feel like the real you doesn't match the blueprint. And because you don't match, you assume something is wrong with you. But here's the truth they don't show you. The guys in those movies have writers. The guys online have filters and 100 bad takes they deleted before the good one. The strong guy you compare yourself to. He's also lying awake some nights. He just learned to hide it better. The difference between you and him isn't strength. It's costume. Most boys grow up putting on a costume every morning. The tough guy. The funny guy. The quiet mysterious guy. Pick one. Wear it until it chafes. And the more you wear it, the less people recognize the actual you underneath. So when someone says, "I know you," what they really mean is, "I know your costume." And when you finally want to take it off, because it's exhausting, because you're tired of pretending, you don't know how. The real you is shy. Untested. Doesn't have good one-liners. Feels too much. Cares about things that seem uncool. So you keep the costume on. And the loneliness gets heavier. Now let's go deeper. The way boys fight. Not physical fights, though those happen too. The internal ones. A boy's mind is often a war zone. One voice says, "Go for it, ask her out, apply for the job, speak up." Another voice says, "Don't embarrass yourself, you'll get rejected, you'll look stupid, stay quiet." The first voice is ambition. The second voice is fear. And fear usually wins, because fear has more practice. So you don't ask. You don't apply. You don't speak. And then you watch someone else do the thing you wanted, and you tell yourself, "I could have done that." But you didn't. And nobody knows you wanted to. Because you never said it out loud. That's another layer of being misunderstood. People see an action and think you're lazy or content. They don't see the screaming match happening inside your head every single day. Now let's talk about love. Because this is where it really breaks. When a boy falls hard, he falls differently. He doesn't always say the words. He shows up. He fixes things. He remembers small details. He stays loyal way past the point he should. He gives without asking for much back. But when the relationship ends, and a lot of them end, he doesn't have a grieving process he was taught. Girls grow up talking through heartbreak with friends. Boys grow up hearing, plenty of fish in the sea, and, you'll get over it. So he swallows the pain. He acts like it doesn't matter. He might even believe the act for a while. But the pain doesn't disappear. It goes into storage. It turns into bitterness. It comes out as anger at the next girl who did nothing wrong. Or it turns inward into a quiet belief that he's not lovable. Then he meets someone new. He tries to explain the old hurt. But the words come out wrong again. She hears jealousy or insecurity. He's just trying to say, I've been hurt and I'm scared. But the translation fails. So he's misunderstood again. In love. In friendship. In family. And after a while, he starts to believe the misunderstanding is his fault. He is the problem. Too complicated. Too closed off. Too much or too little. Let me stop you right there. You are not the problem. The problem is that you were given a script for a play you never auditioned for. The script says, be self-reliant. Don't complain. Don't need. Provide. Protect. Perform. The script has no room for exhaustion. No room for doubt. No room for a boy who just wants someone to say, I see you and you're okay. So of course you feel misunderstood. You're speaking from a place the script doesn't cover. And most people don't know how to listen to what you're not saying. Here's what you're actually saying when you go quiet. You're saying, I don't know how to put this into words. When you get short or sarcastic, you're saying, this hurts more than I want to admit. When you pull away, you're saying, I'm afraid if I stay, I'll break. Nobody teaches people how to read those signals. Not your mom. Not your girlfriend. Not your best friend. So they guess. And they usually guess wrong. Now the good news. You can change this. Not by becoming a different person. By learning a few simple things that should have been taught in middle school. First, name the feeling. Not, I'm fine. I'm tired. I'm sad. I'm scared. Start with one word. Just one. Say it to yourself first. Then to someone you trust. The first time your throat will close. The second time it's easier. The 10th time it's natural. You're rebuilding a muscle. Second, accept that being misunderstood doesn't mean being unlovable. It means you're speaking a dialect not everyone knows. Find the people who are willing to learn it. They exist. They're just quieter than the ones who expect you to perform. Third, stop expecting people to read your mind. I know you wish they would. I know it feels like if they really loved you, they'd just know. They won't. You have to say the words, even the shaky ones. I need a hug. I don't want to talk, I just want to sit here with you. I'm not angry, I'm overwhelmed. Fourth, forgive yourself for the years you spent silent. You were doing the best you could with what you had. Now you have more. Use it. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. The boys who seem the most misunderstood are often the ones with the most to say. They just haven't found the right person or the right moment. The depth is there. The feeling is there. The desire to connect is there. It's just buried under years of, be tough and, don't cry, and, you'll be fine. So here's your landing. You are not broken. You are not too much or not enough. You are a boy who learned to survive in a world that didn't teach you the emotional language you needed. That's not a character flaw. That's a skill gap. And skills can be learned. Start today. One small truth. One short sentence. Say it to yourself in the mirror. I feel lonely. I wish someone understood. I'm trying. That's the first crack in the wall. Not a breakdown. A breakthrough. And when you say it, you'll realize something. You're not as alone as you thought. There are millions of boys walking around with the same weight, the same silence, the same hope that someone will finally get it. You can be that someone for yourself first. Then for another guy who's still stuck. That's how the misunderstanding ends. Not with a grand speech. With one honest sentence repeated until it becomes the truth you live by. You're not invisible. You're not cold. You're not a mystery. You're a boy who wants to be seen. And starting now, you're going to let yourself be. That's the move.
If any of this hit home, hit like. Subscribe for more plain truth about the stuff no one tells you. Because you're not alone, and the real conversation starts right here.